Here we go. And okay, so I am here with none other than Phil Jackson. And Phil, I saw on social and the various platforms that Get Up, Lay Down has just been sort of postponed. The launch of that album has been postponed. But in the same breath, I couldn't help feel that there was a bit of a sort of twinkle in your eye when you mentioned that you were sort of relaunching another album. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, obviously with the whole pandemic thing, the Get Up, Lay Down sort of came out of the blue in a way. I hadn't planned to be writing that much and doing too many new things. And I was thinking about my previous album because I brought that out like late summer last year, and I thought it had a lot of legs to it, and I liked it a lot. It's one I'm quite proud of. And there's lots of elements in it. I wrote it a couple of summers ago, and it started when I was on tour with the Rutles with the first song, and that's what got it going. And then I started traveling around a little bit more and wrote a lot more songs with different vibes. But obviously I'm the same person, and I'm writing them all in situ. I write like streams of consciousness types of stuff. Which I find actually brings out a lot of deep stuff within me. So that's what I'm sort of thinking of right at the moment. I think it's a bit too soon to bring out the new Get Up, Lay Down. I think there's a few little bits I need to do on that a little bit more, and so I'm still thinking of the Moving album at the moment.
And interestingly enough, I mean, I shared this with you. You had a very, just what can I say, a really gracious review or testimony from Drew Hill, wasn't it? And he had sort of said which song he in particular liked. So I had gone over there and had a listen. And as I told you, I listened to that one song, and then I listened to the next one and the next one. That's when I said to you, Phil, this is a top album. And you were like, hey, thanks, man.
Yeah,
but I get the impression. I think all your songs are very and albums are important to you, but you seemed to have a real soft spot for moving. Why was that?
So I guess sometimes things just come together. I got on a roll with writing songs and recording them quickly from the three or four previous albums, where I was writing and recording them quickly, and I was putting out demos of things as well. Whereas this one, I think it was initially the whole Rutles thing. I started doing that, and I was writing this first song in different places where we were going on tour, and then I got the other people in the group to play on it. And I thought, oh, that's cool, and that really got me going. And so I kept writing some more after the tour, and there was just a seamlessness to it. It all came together. The sounds were nice and right. And then I went on holiday to Wales, and I wrote, I think in a week I wrote about not the very last song, but the last four songs before that in that week. So it was there's a meshing of things. When everything happens all at once, there's a real meshing of vibe and ideas and feelings and things you want to project. I mean, and that's the thing. If you want to show things to people, it's nice that it has that collective feel instead of being a very up and down sort of thing. There's a lot of people put collections together.
Yeah.
They go, I've written these songs over the last few years, and I put the best songs together, and here's a collection. That's nice. That can work, but if you're doing an album where it's like, I wrote this in a couple of months, and I think within 3 months is a period of time. I don't think people change too much. I think 3 to 6 months people go on a journey, and I think it's a seasonal thing as well. I tend to write songs seasonally, in the summer and then in the winter. I've done that sort of constantly. I write a summer album, and then I write a winter album, with not consciously doing it, but it just happens like that. It's suddenly the mood changes. For a certain amount of months, you've got the dark months, and then you've got all these sunny months where lots of different things can happen. And so yeah, I what it's got going for it is I wrote it in the summer. It's a very summery album, but it's also very there's a lot of deep feelings and thoughts in there. But I think I've sort of grown into how I've been writing in the last few years, and it's sort of like a little peak. I think this album, it's come together just very nicely, and also I'm along for the journey as well. You know, I'm not, in some ways I'm not really 100% in control. I write songs as a stream of consciousness a lot of the time, and so I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're going to be. I have no preconception if it's going to be a rock song, a ballad, a folk thing, or whatever it might be. You know, it just sort of comes out, and then you go, oh, okay, that happened today. And then tomorrow you've got a different frame of mind, a different thing happening. You do something else. So so it's almost like diary entries.
Yeah. And where did the name Moving? Why that for the name of the album?
Oh, well, there's probably a few reasons. One of the first ideas was a friend of mine who's an artist. His name's Adrian Mills. He was based in Woodbridge in Suffolk, and he showed me one of his sketchbooks, and I used it in a video. Actually, I videoed his whole sketchbook, and I used it, and it was just turning the page. It looks really great. It was on a previous album with a song called World Away. You can find that. And on one of those pages, he had, in his very specific style that he draws in, he had sets of snails on this page. And I think it was coloured in yellow and a couple of other colours. And at the bottom, it just said moving. And that sort of stuck in my head a little bit. Subconsciously, it was there. I didn't think to myself, oh, I'm going to make an album called that. But it just stuck in there. And there's also a song on the album which is called I Forget My Name, and in that I talk about moving. There's a lot of nature in this album, because a lot of the time I write in big spaces like in parks or fields or at the sea or something like that. So I'm always getting in touch with the nature side of it, trying to get back to, I guess, trying to get away.
Yeah. That wonderful escapism, and that's what I picked up. And interestingly enough, I think I told you this. I was pottering around where I live, and of course, then one song next kept going to the next one, and I just remember whatever I was doing, it was one of those things where I was either just sort of trying to sort out some things that I was going to get rid of, or this, that, and the other, and it just complemented it so nicely. You know, it's one of those just wonderful sort of laid back things. And what we want to do in the future now is talk about some of the individual songs and dig deep into some of the lyrics, but in the here and now, for folks who want to listen to it, and also for you to tell us about if they want to listen to the sort of online version, or you've got the CD as well, where can people learn more about it, find the songs and so on?
Well, I've got a few videos out, so you can actually look up the songs we'll be talking about. But mostly at the moment, it's on my Bandcamp. So if you look up Phil Jackson .bandcamp.com, you should be able to find it. But if you just put in Bandcamp, Phil Jackson, Google, you'll find it. It will come up. But you can find me online through philjacksonmusic.com. I've got all my links on there. You can find my Bandcamp and my Facebook, and so I've got so you'll find my YouTube, and you'll find the video sets. And I did a couple of really, well, I like the many really good videos that I personally made, yeah, check those out.
And for folks who go on a drive and they want to have the CD, you've got a CD, haven't you? And a signed CD, might I add?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got a copy here. Funnily enough, there's a copy of it, and the cool thing is, I take all the pictures
that
I use on these things as well.
Yeah.
So these have little stories in also. Even on the CD, there's a picture there.
Very nice.
So and they were all taken in Wales when I was in Wales. So that one on the front was when I was on tour. I was in a building in where was it? I can't remember the name of the place. One of those long names in Welsh. But it was a place called the Gallery,
Mhm.
and it was a big theatre, and that's what it looked like. There's a big window, you look down. Then on the back, that's in the Pembrokeshire
Oh, lovely.
hillside with my ukulele. That's where I wrote a song called "Have Uke Will Travel." I wrote that song, and then I took that picture.
Have Uke will travel. Oh, super terrific.
There you go.
Yeah, and folks can get that via the Bandcamp
They can get
webpage.
that via the Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. They can also, feel free to contact me on my Facebook and that type of thing. Get in contact, say hello, and you can probably get it directly from me. But either way, you'll get it signed, and it'll be a collector's CD.
Terrific. Well, look, Phil, thanks for this. We appreciate this. And what I'm going to do myself, I'm going to sort of go back to listening to it again and scribble down some notes, as I like to do, the things that kind of intrigue me. And maybe we can come back and talk about some of those individual songs and points and verses that you say, because you tend to write and sing some pretty profound stuff, my man.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Thanks very much. Yeah, no, definitely. Let's do it again. Let's dig a little bit deeper.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for this, and we'll chat again soon, okay?
Thanks very much, man.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
Cool.